Hello and welcome to Pearls of Parmadice. My name is Courtney and I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, where I live with my husband, Mason, and all of our yarn. If you're new here, a big welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that you've decided to join me for a little bit of knitting talk. It's Friday, March 15th, 2024. And it is a gray, dreary day here in Parmadice. So I apologize if the lighting is not as good as it normally is. It's almost 9 o'clock this morning and it's not getting any lighter out. So here we are. This will probably be a shorter episode. I don't have a ton to talk about, but we'll see. I say that and then things come up. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but anyway, welcome. You can find me over on Ravelry and on Instagram as Pearls of Parmadice. Those will be linked down below, along with my Pokemon Go friend code and our podcast group over on Ravelry. That'll also be linked down below. I'm running the Giant Mini Mal 2024 over there. It's a year-long make-along using your scraps, your minis, all that good stuff. If you would like more information, you can head to one of my previous episodes this year. Also, my pinned post on my Instagram feed tells you all about it, or you can find out over there in the Ravelry group. I am planning to draw a quarterly prize each quarter this year. And the last one will be like a bigger prize. So I'm planning on doing probably we'll start slow and then ramp it up through the year. So I'm planning on drawing some pattern prizes, probably like at the end of the month. I don't know when I'll announce those. I will announce those here. But we'll get into why I don't know in just a minute. But yeah, so join us if you are knitting with leftover scraps, minis, all that good stuff. It's just a fun make-along. There are so many cool things in the finished objects threads with mini skeins and scraps that I would have never thought to do that are really, really cool. So check that out. If you'd like to join, but Ravelry is not accessible to you, please shoot me an email. That is also linked down below. Shoot me an email with your project, what you used, whatever, and I will get you entered over there. So yeah, and share on Instagram. Full disclosure, have not been as active in any of these spots as I would have liked over the past couple of months. Life has just been life. We've had a lot going on personally, which I'll maybe touch on a bit later in life and other stuff. But yeah, it's been a year already and it's only March. So yeah, that's that. Last admin thing. There's one more. I alluded to in my last episode that I might be taking some breaks in the spring. My husband and I both have birthdays in the spring and our anniversary is in the spring, and I'm going through a large transition at work right now. So there's just a lot of factors. I'm not entirely sure when those breaks will be. I don't know when the next podcast episode will come out. Because it should be the 29th, but I typically film every other Friday on my Fridays off, and I'm working that Friday. So I may try to get that filmed earlier in that week and release it Friday. It may just not happen till Saturday. That's also Easter weekend, so I don't know. We'll see. I will keep you guys updated. Usually for things like that, I will make a post over here and over on Instagram, so you'll kind of know. But if I disappear on YouTube for a week or, for an extra couple weeks, that's what's going on. So yeah, I think that's all of the admin stuff I have to talk about right now. So I guess we'll get into knitting. This is going to go fast, I think. This is what I'm wearing. I knit this a couple years ago. I don't know. I've knit it in the 2020s at some point. I think 2021. Could be 2019 though, don't really know. This is the Scottish Honeymoon hat by Lesley Ann Robinson, I believe is her name, also known as Knit Graffiti. And this is the hers version. The pattern has two versions, a his and a hers. Mason does have the his version. And mine I did out of, I can't recall what the colorway is, but I know the yarn is dyed by HanaMadeIt, who no longer dyes. So anyways, I'm wearing a bright hat on this dreary, chilly day. Yeah, I have no finished objects to talk about at all. Nothing. Didn't finish anything. I have 3 whips though, so we'll get into that. So the first one, I debated on whether I was even going to talk about on this episode or not because it is a gift. So I'm just not going to say who it's for or when I'm gifting it. It's for someone. That's all I'm going to say. So, and you guys haven't seen this. You didn't even know about it. I jumped on the bandwagon, which I do not normally do. Normally, if everybody's knitting a thing, I don't want to knit it. But this is a gift. And I think the person that it's going to will really love it. Yep. The emotional support chicken. These are everywhere. Honestly, I don't know if you guys are tired of hearing about them or not. This is normally like patterns that go viral. I'm sick of hearing about, but I just am loving these darling bull chickens. So as you can see, my chicken is quite flat and filleted. So I still need to sew them together. I don't know. I'm going to let the recipient name them. Yeah, if they want to, which I'm pretty sure they will. All the chickens need a name, right? So that is the Emotional Support Chicken by the Knitting Tree LA. Yeah, the pattern is super clear. I used the pattern in conjunction with the video tutorial on YouTube. Easy peasy. Like, I have not spent that much time working on this, maybe a few days total, like piecemeal days, not whole days. I did get safety eyes. I love it. I think it's super cute. I really want to make one for myself too, and maybe some others for gifts. We'll see. I might make more. I don't know. The yarn that I am using is over there. I left it over there, but that's okay. I know this is RedHeart Supersaver and the colorway charcoal. That was left over from those pickles that I did last year. It's what I used for the face. So I had a ton left over and I still have a lot left. So I might end up, I need to weigh it and see how much it weighs, if it's close to a half skein or not. If it is, I might end up knitting another one of these out of the gray. The orange is, I don't know the colorway off the top of my head, but a friend gave me leftovers from someone else that they know. And it is, I know it's, I love this yarn, whatever that worsted weight version of that is, in whatever the orange colorway is, maybe burnt orange or something. And the yellow is some random yarn that I got in like a box at, I think my mom got it in a box at a yard sale that was like $1. It has no label. It was a partially used skein, so I don't know. And the red is, I know it's Caron Simply Soft just by the feel of it, but again, I have no idea where it came from and I don't know what the color is. So it's like mystery chicken. And then I just ordered safety eyes on Amazon. They're the same size that was recommended in the pattern. I want to say 15 millimeter safety eyes, I believe. I really don't have a ton to say about this other than it was super fun to make, super cute. Not really looking forward to the seaming part of this. I will take some finished object photos and share them on the next episode. I don't know for sure if this will have been gifted by the time I record that or not. So if not, I will show you guys, or maybe I'll record a segment with the finished chicken to pop in there. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, life has been crazy lately, so I'm not making promises, but chicken. If you have not knit one of these, if you typically are not a bandwagon person, or if you're typically not a knit plushie person, this is different. Like, this was really fun, and it was not that difficult. And I don't know, I think everybody needs an emotional support chicken, even if you just knit one and give it to somebody else. It was super, super fun. Okay. All right. So there we go. The Emotional Support Chicken by the Knitting Tree LA. That's my gift knit. My next work in progress is the one that I've put the most time and energy into over the past 2 weeks. So it's living in my bag by my friend Amy of Our So Good Life. She doesn't make bags anymore, but she made this one and I bought it from her and I love it. It's got flamingos and Santa hats, and I don't care that it's not Christmas. It just makes me happy. So this is, and I want to get the name right because I think I messed it up last time. I don't know. I went back and edited the last episode, and I had made so many mistakes, but that's okay because this is just for fun. We are not professional. It's just a fun thing. So I am making the Tilted Blocks Garter Shawl by Marley Bird. And there it is. My printer is not the greatest. It's black and white, so you get what you get. I am not into the tilted blocks border yet, but here, let me find my starting point here. Okay. So this was my deep stash whip to pull out and work on for March. So I have my little Evie, come on, show your face, Evie, and my Evie Progress Keeper. And I want to say that's from the Knitting Llama. And this was as far as I was last time. Evie does not, well, Evie's being camera shy. And I have knit all of this in the last couple of weeks. So this is a gradient yarn, as you can probably tell. And I'm about to get to my next little color change there. So I can't spread it out. I do not have needles with a longer cable, at least not that are available. But like, look at the drape on this. Oh, it is so lovely. I am absolutely obsessed with this one. And this is exactly what I've needed. A semi-mindless knit with like a slight bit of interest with the increases is exactly what I've needed over the past few weeks. Something I can just pick up and work on. It's good for car knitting too. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this yarn is RedHeart. It's a wrap. Sprinkles in the colorway French Macaron. And I talked about this a lot last time. I had a ton of this left over from a vest by Marley Bird, my first summer knit vest, or my first knit summer vest, something like that. But it's basically, the camera's probably not going to focus very well, but it's like 4 strands of unplied thread kind of held together, like that are together. And I wasn't crazy about this yarn when I knit the vest, if I'm being completely honest. I loved the gradient. I did not enjoy the strands held together. And you also held 2 colorways together for that project. And that part, like for me personally, wasn't my favorite at the time. Now, fast forward, I think 4 years later, 5 years later? I don't know. I think 4 years later. I'm not sure, but fast forward a long time later, and I love it. It's gorgeous in the shawl. This is the recommended yarn for the shawl. It might have recommended It's a Wrap Rainbow. It's the exact same yarn. I think the reason this one is sprinkles, it just has that commonality of the white kind of blipping in and out. But they're the same yarn. It's just the colorway families, I guess. I don't know. But I am absolutely adoring this. We are getting to the point where the rows are really long. It's taking a very long time to get across each row, but I still need to increase quite a bit before I will be at the point where I'm ready to do that tilted blocks edging. So I am really hoping to finish this up by the end of March. If I don't finish it in March, I am going to carry it through to next month because I really want this shawl done. I have some plans I'm not quite ready to reveal because I want to see if they're actually going to be doable, that involve creating kind of a capsule wardrobe for summer. I'm not really a capsule wardrobe person, but I want to create several pieces that will go together interchangeably, some that will be sewn. That's the part I'm not real sure. We'll see how that goes. And some that will be knit that'll go together to kind of form a nice little interchangeable mini summer wardrobe. So we'll see, but I want this shawl. Regardless, I already have some dresses that I think this would go really well with. So yeah, that is my tilted blocks garter shawl, I think I said. And I love it. So that got the most of my attention. I do have rainbow needle stoppers on here that I got from Solstice Fiber Studio at Wild and Woolly. And I love these. They are bringing joy to my heart and keeping my stitches on my needles. Oh, I didn't say I am knitting this on Chowgu size, US size 8, so 5mm needles. And my chicken I knit on Chowgu size 7 needles. And I don't know what millimeters that is, but this is going to be maybe the shortest episode in the history of Pearls of Paradise because I only have one other whip to talk about and one stash edition. That's it. I've been knitting a ton. I've just only been knitting on a couple of things. I don't know. I just don't have a lot to talk about today. So if you like short episodes, you're going to like this. And if you like my hour-long rambles, you might be a little disappointed. Although I'll probably end up rambling at the end because it's just what I do. Okay, so I think I got the designer's name wrong on this. This is the pattern that goes with that. Where is the correct pattern? Oh, here we go. So I am working on for my March socks. I'm trying to do a pair of socks a month this year. That's not the right page. Oh, here we go. Again, sorry for my black and white printer, but I am making these super fun Scrappy socks. And the pattern is by Justyna Lorkowska. I don't know what I said as her last name in my last episode, but it was incorrect. And you can kind of tell from the photo, every other stripe has a different texture. And then those in-between stripes are stockinette. So it uses 9 colors of scraps or minis. I went with scraps. I knit the Vertices Unite by Stephen West mostly last year. And I really wanted a pair of socks that would sort of coordinate with that and use the leftovers from that shawl. Plus 4 other colors. I think 4. And I started one of the toes on, I want to say Sunday, March 3rd. And I didn't pick it up again until I think this past Sunday when I finished that toe and knit the other toe. I am knitting them tandem, not 2 at a time, but just tandem. And I have been obsessed with these this week. I knit these Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yesterday I worked on my shawl. And they're ready for heels. They are toe up, which if you are a longer term viewer of the podcast, you know I don't think I've done a toe up sock since I've been podcasting. I prefer cuff down, but I've done toe up before. It's been a few years. I love this. I love this so much. So they're ready for heels. Like I said, the heels, toes, and cuffs are all going to be this color. And I was worried about, I talked about on the last podcast, I was very concerned that I was going to run out of glitch, which is blowing out horribly. There we go. That's a little bit better. Very worried I was going to run out of this. After knitting this many stripes, I have very little concern now. I think I will be just fine. It will probably use my entire scrap here, but that's fine. That's what I want. So I'm just going to put this in a stripe towards the top of the foot, but I'm not going to use it for cuffs. I should be fine. And if I'm not, I'm not bothered. So yeah, I love it. All of these colors, except for this one, are from the Fangirl Fibers Disney Yarn of the Month Club. This one is also Fangirl Fibers, but it's not from that club. And that club was a 2022 club, so it's not available anymore. But this one is Sisu, inspired by Raya and the Last Dragon. This one is Tale as Old as Time, which I was very excited about. It was in my Vertices Unite shawl in 2 places, but it was always striped with something else. So I really like that it's getting its moment to shine on its own there. This was Prince Ali Ababwa, inspired by Aladdin. And that one was socks that I had knit last year. And I like that they got to be a texture stripe because they were stockinette in those socks. So it's kind of fun that I got to do something different with that color. This one is from a Christmas Eve cast on box and was left over from last month's socks that I made. This is the Pink Nightmare, inspired by the movie A Christmas Story. And then this one is from Solstice Fiber Studio. This color, I believe, was called the Salesmen and was left over from my Hermione's Everyday socks that I knit last year. So I'm loving how these colors are coming together. I had initially planned on not doing any kind of color planning and just reaching and grabbing. I did do that for these 3 stripes. I did do that. And then I realized I could either continue to do that, or no, I hadn't. I did it for these 2. Then I grabbed this one and I realized these 2 colors were very similar and I didn't want them next to each other. So then I decided to do a tiny bit of color planning, and I basically grabbed a different one and it ended up being this. So then I chose to use this one. These all have a little bit of an orange thread, like little, here, I don't know why I'm holding it so far back, little orange blips running through, which kind of creates a little bit of, makes them cohesive. And then I like that this kind of calls back to the green in here, and the yellow calls back to the yellow. There's some like yellowy greens in here. Yeah, I'm really liking how these are coming out. They are super fun. They looked really big as I was knitting them though, and I was a little concerned that they weren't going to fit. So I've got this ready to do the heel, which I'll explain why in a minute. But I did try it on and it fits really nicely. I think it's just the difference in how they're sitting on the needles when you go toe up versus cuff down. I don't know. So this is ready to do the heel because I already did the heel and I did not like it and I ripped it out. I think it was a me error, not a pattern error. It's a short row heel that you do with wrap and turn stitches, which I don't have a problem doing wrap and turn, but it's been a long time since I've done them on a stockinette fabric. I did them on a garter fabric. You use some of those in the chicken. I don't think I'm giving anything away really by saying that. But it's garter, so it hides the wraps and you don't have to pick them up. And I don't know what I did on the heel. Part of it was I knit the heel in 3 sittings, and that was a terrible idea, particularly for a heel that I'm not super familiar with. I've done them before. I've had beautiful short row heels come out in the past, both with German short rows and wrap and turns. It's just been a long time. So I need to watch a tutorial or something just to refresh my memory on what in the world I'm truly supposed to do. But that's okay. I might do that this afternoon. I might not. We'll see. But those are my Scrappy socks. I am loving them. I've knit one pair of Scrappy socks before. The triple scoop shorties, I want to say by the kitchen sink shop or something. I knit those a couple of summers ago, I think. And I love doing them, but I like Scrappy socks like this that have direction. I need direction. I need somebody to tell me what to do. That pattern told me what to do. This pattern tells me what to do. That's what I need in a Scrappy sock, at least right now. Maybe someday I'll be brave and just go all out and do my own. But I'm loving these. They're super fun, and it's a great way to use up some leftovers. Okay, gonna stop talking about those. I did not, and I think I might have mentioned I'm using a US 1.5, which is what the pattern calls for and is typically what I knit my socks on. Although my next vanilla sock, I think I might take down to a US 1 and see what I think. My last socks were on a 1 and I really liked it. So, and it's in a bag from, I want to say, the 2020 Cornbread and Honey Advent, which says trust the next chapter. And that's where I'm at right now. So those are all my whips. If you were just here for the knitting part, thanks for hanging. I've got one stash edition that will be really quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about life, and that's going to be all. I know, short, right? Okay, at Wild and Woolly, I may have talked about this. I don't know. I might have. But at Wild and Woolly, I visited the ladies of Solstice Fiber Studio in their booth, as one does. And they do watch this podcast. I don't know how many times I went back. Probably at least 10 times. And I had already purchased stuff. And I was looking for a sweater quantity, but I wasn't quite ready to spend the money on a sweater quantity that day. Like one of those situations. But I kept coming back to this one that they had there that I was like, oh, I could just buy this. Oh, I love it. I love it. And then I was like, no. I need to think about this. This is a little outside my wheelhouse. Yeah. So let's see if I even remember it beyond Wild and Woolly. Because a lot of times, I don't know if you guys do this, where you'll look at stuff at the show and then you go home and totally forget it exists. And I thought, if I forget this exists, then that it wasn't the right thing. I could not stop thinking about this yarn. So I kept going to the website and looking, and I was like, okay, finally, I'm going to do it. And I believe it was on clearance, I think, in their clearance section. So this is what I got. I am so excited. I plan to knit the Cinnabar sweater, and I don't recall the name of the designer. And I don't know when I'm going to knit it. So you guys will hear about this again. I'm not too concerned. If you don't like crinkling, I'm sorry. And if you do like crinkling, you're welcome. I feel like there's people in both camps. I am going to put down one bag, and I will just pull one skein out. They sent a really sweet card with a note on the back. And I just really love this illustration, or it's not an illustration, this photograph. I think it's really beautiful. So I feel like I might put this in a frame and put it somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, I love it. Thank you, Sam and Megan. It's so nice. Anyway, and then they sent me a couple of packets of soak. But the yarn, you guys, look at this. It's blowing out a little bit. Oh, right there is pretty good. So this is their classic worsted base in the colorway Bloom. And I think it's just going to make the most beautiful sweater. I also couldn't decide if I liked this with my skin tone at the show. And then I got home and thought more about it and decided that I just like it and I don't really care if it goes with my skin tone or not. I just really like it. So if you don't think it goes with my skin tone, oh well, we're going to go with it anyway because I just really love it. So there's their ball band and logo. Oh, so thank you, Sam and Megan. I love this so much. I cannot wait to knit this sweater. I was planning to cast it on soon, and now I don't know because of this whole summer capsule wardrobe idea that I came up with that I also can't get out of my head. So we'll see. If not, maybe I will knit this over the summer to have for fall. I need more sweaters. I really need more sweaters. I need to do a lot of things. My day job really gets in the way. I do love my day job most days, but also gets in the way of all my hobbies. It's a constant struggle. Anyways, that's my one stash edition. I am so excited. It is just stunning. If you have never checked out their shop, you should check it out. They have just beautiful yarn. Beautiful yarn. Okay, so that's it for stash editions. We are just over a half an hour. I don't know. Life stuff. So, yeah, not going to go into a ton of it. A lot of it is pretty personal stuff that I'm just not going to share here, at least not at this time. We've had some family members going through some rough things, and it's not really my place on the internet to talk about that. And we've got another family member who's maybe going to go through a rough thing that I'm worried about. And yeah, so there's just been a lot on my mind. My boss at work is retiring and we're getting a new boss, which actually is one of my friends. I'm pretty excited about that, but transitions are difficult. They're hard, they're challenging, and yeah, it's challenging all the way around. So a lot of just, it's a lot. I can't remember what we talked about last time. It's been a blur. The last couple weeks have been a lot. We did get a new dishwasher. I don't know if I talked about that. So that is in. Thank goodness we have a new dishwasher. So that's helped a bit. And our car. Yeah, we talked about that. So we took it in and they couldn't find anything wrong with it. They were like, yeah, it's fine. But they did put it up on the lift and really look at it. And after that, it has run much more smoothly. So I think maybe they inadvertently tightened something, or I don't know what they did, maybe on accident. But we haven't had any more problems. So that's great. And that's really looking up. And I have a few other exciting personal things that are really hopeful to look forward to. So that's really great. And I don't know. It's been a very weird, lot of really difficult things and a lot of things I'm really hopeful for kind of couple of weeks. That's just been taking a lot of my mental and emotional energy and space. So, that's as deep into that as I want to get. You guys don't really want to hear about all my life crises. They're not really crises. They're just, it's life. It's life, my life stuff. Reading and watching. Let's move to that. That's more exciting. Reading. I finished The Teacher by Frida McFadden. And I know a lot of people have said that they really loved it. I personally liked some of her other books quite a bit better. It wasn't my favorite. I think it was the premise and the characters for me. I felt like I didn't have anybody really to root for in that book. And I kind of wanted somebody whose side I was on. And I didn't like anybody. I didn't like anybody. No, just didn't like anybody. So I think that was part of it for me. I also read and finished The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I wasn't really planning on reading it, but It was available in Libby, which is the app my library uses for e-media. And I thought, well, I'll read it, sure. Kind of a blast from the past. There were a lot of things that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. So it was a little bit nostalgic and interesting. It was interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that. It was interesting. I started reading a book called What the Dead Know by Barbara Butcher, and it's her memoir. I'm not sure if she still is or not. I haven't gotten super far into it, but she at least was a New York City death investigator, which I had never really heard of that occupation. They're not really part of law enforcement. They're part of the medical examiner's office. And I started that a few nights ago, and I am really enjoying it. It's really fascinating and really interesting. Fun fact about me, my great-grandmother was an embalmer, and she and her brothers owned some funeral homes in my area. So I don't know, I don't know. That whole industry and all of that has always kind of fascinated me, probably because I grew up a little bit around that. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's your fun fact of the day. Let's see. There's another one. I started, after I finished listening to Brittany's memoir, I started listening to The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. I just started that yesterday. I'm not very far in, but so far I'm enjoying it. It's a book that's about this thick, though. I think the audiobook is like 31 hours, so I'll probably be on that for a while. But so far I'm enjoying it. And then Mason and I are listening to an audiobook in the car, and that one is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And we're a little bit over halfway, probably into the last third of the book. And I'm still not sure what's happening. I'm still not sure where we're going to go. Very intrigued. We're both enjoying it in like the way that you enjoy books and you simultaneously like cringe, like, oh yeah, I don't know, but we're really liking that. It's like a thriller mystery, like one of those that we like. So that's what we've been reading and listening to. Watching, we watched both the first Atlantis movie and the second, like, straight to VHS or DVD Atlantis movie on Disney Plus. Mason had never seen the first one, and I loved that movie. Absolutely loved it. Loved rewatching it. That was a fun little escape from reality this week. So that was fun. I did watch on Netflix I'm going to butcher the name. The main title is Buried Truth. I want to say Indrita Mukherjee's story, something like that. It's a true crime documentary. It's 4 parts, and I was hooked. So I really enjoyed that. Very bizarre. And I also watched over on Max this morning. I watched His Name Was Mostly Harmless, and that was a like hour and a half long documentary about a John Doe who was a hiker and how they kind of like reverse identified him. So that was interesting too. I think that's about all I've watched lately. I watched my podcasts. I have not watched today's Crazy Sock Lady episode. I've been watching a lot of Knit All the Yarn. Happy Little Yarn. She hasn't had an episode in a couple weeks, so hopefully soon. Amy, are you filming soon? I miss you. The Cat Lady, CATT, Craft All the Things. I have really been enjoying her. Ambi Marie Knits. Those are the ones I've been watching a lot of lately. So I think that's all I have. I really have nothing else to talk about this is a shorter episode. So again, okay, we made it to 40 minutes. I feel like that's okay, right? I just didn't have a lot this time. I don't know. It's been a slow couple of knitting weeks, but I've knit a lot, just on 2 projects, 3. That's it. I do future plans. I guess my only real concrete future plan, I told you guys I want to make a tournament of stitches. I'm not opening the whole thing. If you're interested in this blanket, I talked about it 2 or 3 episodes ago. I want to knit one of these for my brother who's turning 30 this year, and I am hoping to get his cast on today. I'd like to do about 6 blocks a month. He turns 30 in November, and I want to give myself extra time to do the border because the border was not very fun. Kind of a slog for me, but I'm knitting his in the leftovers from this blanket. So hopefully I'll get that cast on this weekend. Maybe today I will try and do that. And then that'll be my at-home knitting. So we'll see. All right. I think that's all I've got, friends. So I hope that you all have a wonderful, hopefully couple of weeks. We'll see. Could be a little longer. Could be a little shorter. I don't know. I hope that you guys are having a great March so far. It's been, up until today, with like a few blips of winter, it's been very, very spring-like. So if you're enjoying spring already where you are, even though it's not officially here for another week or so, I hope you're enjoying that. If you're still getting cold weather and snow, I feel you too, because we've kind of had both. If you're having ridiculous weather like us, I hope you're enjoying that. I don't know. Enjoy your weather or don't. But what I do want you to do is find some time to do some crafting or knitting or whatever brings you joy in your little corner of paradise. And I'll be over here just knitting away in my little corner of paradise. I'd super appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, comment. All of that helps other people find our little community so that they can enjoy it too. All right, I will see you next time, friends. Bye.